This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Icon Podcast. My name is Gianna, and today we've got the opportunity of talking to Mark Middleton. Welcome to the show. Thank you for your time. Excited to get to know you.
Thanks for having me here.
Of course. So, Mark, give us the spiel on your background. Who are you? Where are you? I've got the hiccups. Where are you from? And how did you get started as a real estate agent?
Great. Well, I'm from the Tampa Bay area, originally from Michigan, but I came down here in 1984, and I've been here ever since high school, college. Got started after 27 years in the restaurant business. I got started in real estate, back in 2017, and was at Keller Williams for my first 3 years, and now I'm about to have my third anniversary with EXP. Loving it.
That's awesome. And then also Mark was telling me, because I asked him, I was like, hey, you're in the Tampa Bay area. It must be so easy for you to make it to shareholders in Orlando. And you've spent how many days there out of the last 52 weeks?
Yeah, 3 whole weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks at the Rose and Shingle Creek this year because I'm on the board with Florida Realtors and the Pinellas Realtor Organization. So anytime Florida Realtors has an event, they just had the convention, Florida Realtor Convention, at that same hotel. So it feels like a second home over there. And the shareholders event that EXP had was incredible. Yeah, what a really great event there too.
Yeah, you're basically paying rent over there at this point.
I know.
But that's cool, Mark. All the ways that you're involved in the real estate industry. And so tell me a little bit more about your experience with EXP. How did you get involved? How did you get introduced? What was your thought process on the whole thing?
You know, it's interesting. A couple of my buddies started talking with me when I was at Keller Williams for probably 8 or 9 months prior to coming over to EXP, really recruiting me, telling me, hey, you've got to check out EXP. And, back then there weren't very many people. When I started EXP a few years ago, I think we had 25,000 agents in the entire company. And Florida was probably one of the biggest markets, but relatively small compared to what we are today. And I didn't want to have really anything to do with it. I was happy. I had my little home at KW and I had a wonderful, great 3 years experience with them. And I wanted to do some things in my business, like have a branch office and have membership, a secondary membership in some of the other MLSs. And my broker didn't really want me, or it felt like she didn't want me to do those things. And when I started talking more and more with EXP, their answer back was, how can we support your goals and what you want to do in this business? And it seemed like more of a fit for me. So that's how I came over. And like I said, I'm about to have my third anniversary, and it's been a great experience.
That's awesome.
The other thing I'll add to that is, last year I was out in Las Vegas for the EXP Con, and I got to walk right up to Glenn Sanford and have an entire conversation with him. I took a selfie with the guy, very approachable, and it was very different. I've been at some of Gary Keller's events, and amazing. He's an icon in this industry, but I couldn't just walk up to him and have a conversation. So I feel really at home here, and nothing bad to say about any of the other places, or people. I hold them in really high regard, but it's just wired differently here at EXP.
Right. And I like how you said that. It is wired differently here. And it's much more almost accessible. It's like it's a community. And that's why a lot of people love EXP. And, Mark, now that you're over here, there's a lot of great things that EXP has to offer, right? Rev share, stock options, collaboration, the EXP world, right? So what is one of your favorite parts about EXP? What keeps you here? You've been here for 3 years. You've iconed all 3. So why are you sticking with EXP being home?
I think one of the things that I really come to have love about our business here at EXP is that EXP world, the functionality of how it works. I'm 51 years old, and I felt like trying to wrap my arms around another piece of technology, it felt really disconnected at first. The longer that I was at EXP, the more I realized, like, wow, this is a really great tool for us. And just last week I needed a DA fixed. It was closing on that morning, on Friday, and the title company said, hey, our commission is different than what it says on the DA. What's going on here? I was able to go into the world. Within 10 minutes I had a new DA. At a
Wow.
regular brick and mortar, like the traditional brokerages, that's unheard of. It just doesn't happen. And so it was my personal experience, how it would work back then and how it works today. And so we have the ability to act and react in real time with the way that our business functions.
I
So it's
love that.
one of my favorite things.
And you touched on one of the things. It's so great how accessible EXP World is, and it's such a resource to people. And there's training in there. A lot of the training is because of the cultural commitment that Icon agents have, which makes it even better because you're learning from the top 2% of the industry. And Mark, before we dive into all things Icon agent and all the commitments there, I want to learn more about you, your work-life balance. How do you do it all? Where do you draw boundaries? How do you give yourself time to recharge while also taking care of your clients, making time for family and friends?
Yeah, that doesn't exist. And in the best of ways, right? So I said something maybe that could be perceived as negative about Gary Keller. Let me say some of the great things. He wrote a book called The One Thing. And in that book, he talks about that, right? That there really isn't a balance, that what we're should be looking at and seeking is counterbalance. And they talk about it. Ogmandino's book, The Greatest Salesman in the World, all the way back. He wrote that in the 1950s. He talks about that too. When you're at work, be divorced from all other things. But when you're with your family or with your other things, be divorced from work. And that is really what I find works for me. So when I'm the reason that I got to Icon, and I've only been in the real estate industry for 5.5 years. The reason that I have had the success that I have had is because when I am in that thing, I am very, very intentional, and I am laser focused on what I'm doing. And so in my personal life, I'm a long distance runner. I'm competing in ultra marathons, and some of the races that I have trained for, they take just as equal of a great commitment as real estate does. And so when you're in those other things, I have found that you have to be very intentional about being present and being fully engaged with what you're doing. And I find that works with every part of my life. Whether it's the volunteer work that I do with the Dunedin History Museum, I'm on the board there. I'm very involved with our Rotary Club and the things that I do with Rotary, and then with the real estate business, and then what I do in my personal life, the training for these ultra distance events, they really require that you be fully present and engaged. So
Absolutely. And, that's the best way to learn and be a part of it. And I like that you said, being divorced from other aspects of your life so you can focus on one, and that time blocking and having those commitments and setting boundaries is important because, you kind of mentioned earlier, Mark, that the work-life balance doesn't exist here. And this industry can absolutely swallow you whole if you let it. So you have to be cautious of that. And Mark, for my next question, it's going to be, as far as scaling up your business to the level it's at, we talked about how you have an assistant, right? So, what were some of those first hires you made to be able to scale up your business? What tasks did you take off your plate first, and how did that help you improve as an entrepreneur and a businessman and a business overall?
Well, gosh, I'll tell you that it has looked like a dumpster fire, right? For the whole time that I've been an agent. 90 days after becoming a realtor, I decided from reading some different books in our industry, like, wow, where I want to go to and grow to is to have a team. And so within that first 90 days, I started a team, and it was almost putting the cart before the horse. because I had so much learning and growth to do, and
Yeah.
hired an admin right off the bat. And I've gone through a few over the last several years. And it's not easy. It's simple, not easy.
Mhm.
Those people, for one reason or another, it wasn't a good fit and a match. And so that has been a pain point, and we continue to grow and evolve in that way. We always find my North Star, the guiding light that I have, is what can we be doing today to help our buyers get into contract and close on their home successfully. And equally as important as all of our listings, what are we doing each day to help these homes sell? And in the beginning part of 2022 and in the ending of 2021, we all know that the real estate market in the entire country was completely on fire. You didn't really have to do much. Anybody could list a home and multiple offer, you look like a rock star. Well, we're getting back to a place now where we have to get back to those activities that we were doing a couple years ago, like following up with our sellers and having a weekly call with them and letting them know. And some of the positions that we are hiring for now, again, is that social media marketing, making sure that our email campaigns are going out and that we're doing something that matches with what our company values are, is what are we doing each day to help our buyers and sellers. And so those are the places that we have hired to. And that's really been a focus.
Absolutely. That's awesome, Mark. And, you have to spend money to make money. You have to take some of those things off your plate so that you can focus on things that you're good at and things that, maybe generate just a little more revenue. And Mark, now that we've talked about that and your background and why you're here and what you're up to, let's talk about all things Icon, right? So, first step of iconing is you've got to hit production. Top 2% of the industry, technically the brokerage, but both really. And so, Mark, what does production look like for you in your market in the Tampa Bay area? What is that average housing price? How many homes do you have to sell typically to be able to cap?
Sure. It's ticked up over the last 18 months, and we are about $350,000 is our average sale price now. And each agent is really different, but that's in my company, that is what we're looking at. And so we're having to hit, I think it's 11 or 12 houses before we are fully capped, and then move toward the iconing process, because with the EXP you have to cap first, and then you have an additional, that's a $16,000 cap, and then the next $5,000 that you pay into EXP is done $250 at a time. So that's kind of what that looks like to get there as far as the production level.
Okay, awesome. And then Mark, beyond that, since you've been an icon for 3 years, obviously you have had to take time to fulfill a cultural commitment if you want that full cap back. So, you could be a mentor, a coach, teach an EXP world, be on panels, vet other icons. So what is your cultural commitment? Why do you choose to go with that? And what have you learned from it?
Okay, so great. Well, EXP continues to evolve as the company grows. And what I did the first 2 years that I was an icon, was interview other icon agents. And EXP did a really great job. They give you what all the questions are. You call the people that are iconing and you give them their interview, and then provide notes back to EXP, to that vetting committee. What they did this last year, and what I chose to do, was to teach in EXP University. And gosh, it's something that I spent prior to becoming a realtor and getting into this industry. I had taken a couple years off to travel around the world, and I lived in Asia, studied even during college. I studied some Asian cultures, and the Buddha had said that we are all simultaneously a student and a teacher. And so by teaching in EXP University, it helped me grow so much as a person, because, there's prep time and you have to create a course and then spend time in the EXP world, the auditorium, teaching. And man, it was great being able to pour into other people to help them. And what the class I taught this year was called The Path to Success, and what does it look like to become an EXP icon agent. it was fulfilling for me to be able to share what my path and my experiences look like and some of the tips and tricks of how you can get there. And basically it really all boiled down to setting a schedule into your mindset. But it helped me to grow too, because if I'm going to teach other people now, I better be walking the walk and modeling to other people and setting up a class and talking in front of people. All of those things were really beneficial to me too. So yeah,
I love
that's
the mindset. The mindset. I love the mindset that you have around that, Mark.
it's so important. Yeah.
It is. It is important. And you're, as an icon agent, you do kind of have a spotlight on you, not in a bad way, but in a way that people look up to you and you're a leader in the brokerage and you're a mentor and, probably somebody's sponsor at this point. And again, you don't have to recruit when you're with EXP, but it's very beneficial to do so. I've met icon agents that make like $8,000 a month off of just their rev share. So if you're looking for multiple streams of income, this is a great place to start. But Mark, beyond that, the Icon Award comes with many benefits, right? So you get that cap back in stock, opportunity to go to EXPCon and shareholders for more stock awards. The great reputation. It's really an elite status, and you get a big glass shiny trophy. So what are some of your favorite aspects of being an icon agent? Why are you going to continue to set this as a standard for yourself? I know you're already 3 years in a row, but hey, why keep striving for such a thing? Why take the time to do that cultural commitment and that interview and everything that else that comes with it? Why put the effort towards it anymore? What's your favorite part?
Well, I think that you get into a pattern of behavior, and when you're doing the right things in your daily life, then it's like the Ferris wheel when we were kids on the playground, right? Once you get that thing spinning around, you can almost stand in one place and just tap it as it goes by, and it continues to go fast. So once you get into a high level of production, once you get into a high level of production, if you stay in it, now it becomes easy each year to continue that. We have a culture. I have a small, swift team, and we have a culture of excellence. And so we pour into other people, and through those efforts, it's kind of built-in recruiting and everything to that. One of my favorite things about being an icon too is there have been other people that have joined EXP and then have looked up. I became a mentor as well. And by being a mentor and an icon agent, I have had people that have joined EXP here locally that have called and said, hey, I have looked at who is a mentor in this area, and I would specifically like you to be my mentor. And although most of the time I don't mentor them and take that opportunity, it's a great opportunity. And what has happened is relationships are born out of that. And I become a mentor for them in the way of, hey, have you thought about this in their transactions, or helping them to get into production and helping them be better. And that is my whole entire life mission, is to leave people and places better than I have found them, and to make a positive impact in people's lives. So being an icon has given me that spotlight to really be able to pour into other people and help other people do better.
And it really is just such a people-centric industry. And if you don't love people, if you don't, want to help them in the next step of either their career or their life, the home buying process, you're going to have that commission breath, and it's not going to go good for you. And, the same thing why people are scared of, oh man, am I going to have to recruit? No, you're not. But, the people that have probably tried to recruit you in the past, which make you dread the idea of it so bad, have that, that rev share breath, that commission breath that you're so, reluctant to. And so, Mark, I think that's an awesome mindset to have, and the best way to take it on. And for somebody that is coming over to EXP, maybe they're a high producing agent with another brokerage, or maybe they are new to the real estate world, but they see this Icon Award, they want to aim for it, they want an icon in their first year. Is that possible for them? What are some major mistakes to avoid, or some daily activities that they can incorporate to help them reach that goal?
Sure. Yeah. And it's very possible. So I had only been an agent for 3 years when I came over. Even at Keller Williams, I got into production relatively quickly. And if you're doing the right things in your daily life, you're going to hit an icon. It's possible for all of us. And what's great about that is you do. I mean, we pay into our cap, but you do get that back, you know, and as the stock price has been fluctuating, but it will always, in a long-term investment, will go up again. And it's different than any other brokerage in that way. So I would say the things to avoid is, when you make a lot of money, don't stop working. I talked to an agent at a different brokerage last year. I sold a $3 million piece of property, and it was in September was our closing. And he says, man, I'm really grateful for this because I need a break. I'm going to take the rest of the year off. And you know,
Wow.
that guy, I have since recently talked to him again, and he's still trying to get momentum built back up. So I think that to stay in our daily routine of, you know, nobody likes to talk about lead generation, but, you know, lead generation, lead follow-up, those are part of our job description. And if we time block out the first part of our day every day and have that very narrow focus of, hey, this is what I'm doing right now, then it will set up your day, your week, your month, and your year every year. And you can get that, like I referred to earlier, you get that Ferris wheel going to it, so where you can stand in one place. When I first became an agent, I had the blessing really of one of the people at Keller Williams, and he's a big name over there, said, I'm going to coach you because I think you have a lot of talent. And I'm really grateful for that. And I remember him saying, okay, you're going to call 20 people a day and you're going to check in with me every day at 5 o'clock. And so 5 days a week, that was 100 contacts a week. And I missed it by 2 people one day. And he hung up the phone on me. I'm like, hello. And he had literally ended the phone call, and he was very serious because he felt like, if I'm going to pour into you, then your commitment back to me is to do what you say you're going to do. And it made a really big impact. So that first 6 months of me working in this industry, I think I had blood on my knuckles because I knocked on so many doors. I called so many people, and that first 6 months put my entire career on a trajectory of success. So, and you know, I look back now 5.5 years down the road, or, you know, almost, you know, about 5.5 years in, and what an amazing experience and journey, because I would have never dreamed that I would have gotten here so quick. And I can see that we're all going to have, you know, a turbulent time. You know, I think the industry is calling it, we're going to see some headwinds. But if you stay with those practices of lead generation, lead follow-up, and that will always win long term. Some people look at that as an old way of doing things, and that style of running our businesses is out, but I see it as a timeless practice.
Absolutely. No, that's an incredible you know, story, perspective, point of view too, Mark. And that accountability, that sense of accountability is so important. It's so crucial, especially in this industry. You know, you're not going to be given every lead. People aren't going to be knocking on your door. Your friends are going to go to different real estate agents. There are people that you thought that you had a great relationship with that are going to use other people. And you have to look at things. Am I a secret agent? Am I constantly on these people's mind that I am a real estate agent, that I am the best option for them? Am I going to help them with what they need, or do I have that commission breadth? And I think that that's really important. And Mark, were you ever skeptical of EXP when it was first introduced to you?
Oh, I was really skeptical. Yeah.
What was your thought process?
You know, I was really happy where I was, and I had a lot of success where I was, and my success came to me really quickly as well through my hard work and you know, sticking with some of the things that we just discussed. And I guess I really thought, like, well, this is what got me here. So you dance with the girl that brought you. And so I was really reluctant, especially when EXP 3 years ago was as young as it was. I have since had the opportunity to walk right up and meet Glenn Sanford and really learn a lot more about this brokerage and the way that they do things. And that makes me feel more confident. But I think in the beginning, my reluctance was just not knowing enough about it. And like what you mentioned a couple minutes ago, you know, I didn't really like when people were trying to recruit me to something. And so, I have come since to learn that they were trying to help a friend. When you know something good, it's kind of incumbent on you to share it with other people. But I wasn't really, it was my mindset. I wasn't looking at it in that way. And I'm really grateful that I did make the decision to come over when I did.
Absolutely. And, I'm sure so is your stock account. And
Yeah.
so, Mark, for those that are watching right now, maybe there's a lot going through their mind like, hey, if I switch over to EXP, I'm going to have to break up with my broker, or I am my own broker right now. How do I shut this down? The people that are here and they depend on me, or this brokerage has become my baby. I've poured my blood, sweat, and tears into this, but EXP just makes sense for me. But it's a pyramid scheme, it's a cult, it's all these things. So what would you have to say to somebody looking to make the jump, to kind of give them that rest assured that, with high risk comes high reward?
Sure, it's true. And, every company that's successful, they're attacked in that way. So they, the people at KW, they say they bleed red, and, that's cultish and everything. And they say the same things about EXP agents. Like, I was calling somebody maybe a month ago or so about one of their listings for my buyer. And the first words out of my mouth is, "Hi, I'm Mark Middleton with EXP Realty." And the guy said on the other end of the phone, "Listen, I get enough calls from all you people, and I'm not interested in coming over." And I said, my next words were, "Well, actually, I'm, hey, that's great, but I'm calling you about your listing at, whatever the street address was, 123 Main Street." And so it became a different conversation. But people have that mindset out there. But, you're only going to pick on people that are doing something really great and they're having success at it, right? If you're irrelevant, people aren't going to pick on you. And so I would say that I didn't lose any of my momentum at all. It took a very thoughtful month and a half from the time that I made the decision to move from KW over to EXP of how that was going to look. And then once I made that decision, I implemented on it. And I didn't lose one day of production. And my business actually grew. And I don't regret any of that. I've left some wonderful people behind, and all of those people are still in my life, whether it was my team leader or my brokers. I'm connected to them on social media. The general manager of that entire brokerage, he runs 3 offices for them. Him and I last year went out to dinner. Those relationships remain, and yet we have to do what's best for us, our buyers, our sellers, the people that work on our teams. And those are the things, if you're thinking about it, those are things that are probably going to not hinder you, but help you in the long run. So we have a lot to offer here. We really do.
I agree. And if you guys want to hear more, reach out to Mark. We live in a metaverse. I don't care if you're in Florida or Washington or Canada. This is a great resource. Make those connections, get into these relationships, hold each other accountable, ask questions about coming over to EXP, ask questions about real estate, all these great things. Mark is here to answer and help with. And Mark, are you going to be at EXP Con?
I will. Yep. I'm going.
Awesome.
I'm excited about it. Staying right. I think it's at the Mirage Hotel this year.
Yeah.
Yep. And booked my room as soon as tickets went on sale. I got my ticket to EXP Con, and I'll be there. And I'm looking forward to that too.
Yes. Awesome. I'll be there too. So looking forward to getting connected with you, Mark. And is there anything that you want to leave the listeners with today as we wrap it up?
Gosh, I think one of the threads that we've been pulling at in this entire conversation is really coming from contribution, not having commission breath, but really just trying to help the people that are in your world, and letting them know authentically who you are is going to be something that serves you in your business. That is probably the thing that I would say, keep a really positive mindset. This business and this industry can really beat you up. And I guess that's probably where I would want to leave it.
Awesome.
Put
Mark,
in it.
I think it has been an awesome episode. I've really enjoyed getting to know you and your attitude on all things life and real estate. And I look forward to catching up with you IRL in Vegas.
Thanks, Gianna. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be with you here today. Thank you.
Of course. Grateful to share your story, Mark. Have a great day.
Thanks. You too.
Bye-bye.
This This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success, and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.